Hey ladies and gents, welcome back. This is going to be part 3 to What If Naruto is Madara's grandson, a remake to a What If I made a pretty decent amount of time ago. So let's do a little brief recap of what happened in the last part, and then get into the what if. So what actually happened in the last part is basically the entire Land of Waves mission happened, with Naruto being much stronger than he was, along with Sasuke being a little bit stronger. They both awaken the Sharingan with their fight against Haku, where Naruto has his Sharingan a little bit more evolved than Sasuke's was, simply because, Naruto fought for a little bit longer than Sasuke, and Naruto also unleashed some of the good old-fashioned Nine-Tails chakra in his actual battle, too. So, with that being said, make sure to check out my Discord. I'll leave a link to that in the description. Like and subscribe, and the like goal on this video is going to be 100 likes. And let's just get into the actual new material of the What If. One more thing before I actually get into the actual What If. What did you guys think of the last part? Like, did you like how I threw in, like, a few jokes and a little bit of, like, humor that, like, hearing about? Like, more than I would in most of my other What Ifs? Or was that kind of just, like, I just want you to tell the story? Or, like, basically, what exactly did you think of, me trying to make jokes throughout the video instead of just kind of, like, talking flat like this with, kind of like that. So let me know what you guys think in the, the comments of this video, because I kind of forgot to ask in the last one. And with that being said, let's actually get into the new material. So we're going to start with Naruto and the rest of Team 7 about to basically start the Forest of Death. They all passed the written exams of the Chunin exams pretty easily, and now they're moving on to the next phase, which is obviously the Forest of Death. So the Forest of Death starts off pretty similar. Naruto would have to, they'd all run into the woods. Naruto would end up having to go to the bathroom still. So Sasuke ends up setting up the code. But he has no reason to believe that Naruto wouldn't be able to remember it. So when Naruto goes to the bathroom and the snake attacks him, Naruto is basically distracted by this for a long enough time for Orochimaru to disguise himself as Naruto and show up, basically, targeting Sasuke's body. He starts talking and Sasuke asks for the code, which is perfectly recited. Sasuke doesn't think much of this because, Sasuke thinks that Naruto would be able to remember it at this point. So, they continue on walking, and a few minutes pass. So what's happening with Naruto, you might ask? Well, he's getting attacked by a giant snake. He's inside of the belly of the snake because, he kind of got eaten, and he's trying to find a way out. With a simple couple fireballs, he manages to sear the inside of the snake pretty well, little well done, and Naruto manages to get outside of the snake once he kills it. So, with him getting outside of the snake, he goes to his, the direction that his friends were going at, and he notices some look-alike of him walking with his two teammates. Naruto, knowing exactly what's happening right now, because, Naruto's a G like that, he's just real smart, he makes a few shadow clones. They all run in different directions, going basically to surround the two friends and whoever the hell that other person is. Naruto casually walks up at this point, the real Naruto, and he's just like, well, who the fuck are you? What the hell are you doing here? Orochimaru turns around and he's just like, fuck, he got out of the snake, damn. Sasuke turns around and he's just like, there's two of them, with Sakura basically doing the exact same thing. Naruto would, run up and he would punch this Naruto lookalike right in the face. It, peels away from, his little, what it usually would do. He basically untransforms and reveals that he's not actually Naruto. Sasuke is just like, God damn it, how the fuck did I not notice that you weren't, the real deal? And Orochimaru's just like, well, you see, I'm just that good because I have OP hacks, and I'm Orochimaru, and I can do that. So basically, everybody would be getting their little battle, with Orochimaru thinking not much of Naruto. He was always really using his taijutsu and a fireball every, now and then, which is pretty similar to what Sasuke was using, but he's going to be surprised pretty soon. So, as Orochimaru is about to try to deal a pretty decent blow to Naruto, Naruto manages to dodge out of the way, and he's about to go in for a gut punch, but Orochimaru, dodges out of the way because he's real fast like that. But as he's dodging out of the way, he sees that Naruto's doing something else. Naruto was throwing a right hook. However, he sees a kunai in his left hand that's mere inches away from his face now. He didn't see it coming, and he tries to dodge out of the way of that, but then he feels something grab his back. And then he turns around because, he can, turn his head around, 180 because he's like a fucking snake like that. And he turns around and he sees it's another Naruto. What the what? And he can't move. So Naruto manages to shank him with a kunai. So with Orochimaru bleeding out of the chest at this point because he didn't have time to do the weird like snake out of the mouth thing. I don't know exactly how the snake out of the mouth thing works. He would have to do the snake out of the mouth. I don't know exactly. Like Orochimaru's just a weird dude. I don't know exactly how it's like he can get stabbed and all of a sudden he can just like puke himself out and he's completely fine. I don't know exactly how it works. It's kind of fucked, but I don't know. So word is gonna say he can't do that. So Orochimaru gets like shanked in the stomach and he's just like, oh, damn, I can't do anything about this nuisance anymore. But he has his eyes set on Naruto as well as Sasuke now because Naruto would obviously, shine off his little power that he has, being the Sharingan, because he can do that because he's OP like that. Or not OP, but, he wants to flex, and he kind of did, because he managed to, at least kind of take down Orochimaru. Obviously, Orochimaru was not going anywhere near full out because he was going up against a bunch of kids, but he did manage to catch him off guard, and Orochimaru's just like, he's going away, and he's just like, that kid's pretty freaking smart. Like, he used the Shadow Clone really well. Like, damn, I didn't think anything, like, I didn't know, like, people that young even thought of ideas like that. Like, damn. He's basically like, okay. I might want that one. I might want that one instead. Interesting. So, with Orochimaru's mind, like, thinking of all the possibilities, he ends up going to wherever the fuck he ends up going after the Forest of Death, with Naruto and Sasuke going and basically going and trying to find their scroll, because Sasuke isn't weakened, so they don't have to go under that tree, with neither Naruto or Sasuke, passing out, because neither of them got the curse mark, because, they kind of never got the opportunity to get it from Orochimaru. He probably could have, but he didn't, because he never really got the opportunity, because he wasn't really trying his hardest, so, you know how it goes. He basically didn't give him a curse mark, because he wasn't taking them seriously, and they managed to take him, out, kind of in a way, whatever you want to call it. So, with them basically trying to find whatever the hell scroll they end up eating, they come across a few teams. First team they come across doesn't have the scroll. So they decide not to take them on because there's no point. They just ask, hey, what scroll do you have? And they're like, oh, well, we have this scroll, because they're most of the teams would be trying to avoid conflict. And if they have the same scroll as each other, then they don't have to fight. So they're like, well, we have this scroll. And then they're like, okay, well, then we'll just move on. But the second team they came across had the scroll they needed. I believe they needed the Heaven scroll, but if I'm wrong, I'm not, claiming that's actually what he had. I'm just saying in this what if he's going to have the Heaven scroll. So they come across the team with the scroll they actually need, and they begin battling one another. This team being some random fodder people that didn't make it through the Forest of Death in the original, because I don't really want to make him fight Gaara or somebody like that this early on. So with Naruto basically being like, he wants to be the pack leader because Naruto's Naruto, he jumps in and he wants to take on all three of them at the same time, do a little bit of a test your power thing. So with all three of them being fodder characters, as I said, and not really being able to pass the Forest of Death, even if they really tried to, as I also already said, Naruto would actually manage to solo the team of three. So with Naruto soloing the team of three, he gets the scroll that he needs, and he's just like, okay, well, time to go to the end of the Forest of Death. So they go to the end of the Forest of Death. With them getting there, actually a lot sooner than they would in the original, because, they didn't spend, however fucking long they spent under the tree. They actually got there a little tiny bit after Gaara got there, and Gaara was really surprised. He's like, another team that made it almost as fast as me. Interesting. Or, as fast as my team. They have a little interaction with Gaara, realizing that Naruto's also Jinchuriki, and, likewise. Naruto's like, interesting. With Gaara having a lot more interest in Naruto than he did in the original. Remember in the original that he was interested in Sasuke, and this one, he's interested in Naruto. Because, he can. So basically, Forest of Death would be over. They would pass, and they do it a lot easier than they would in the original. Sasuke doesn't have a curse mark because, Orochimaru never gave it to him because he didn't really get the opportunity to do so. And, yeah. So, the next part of the, exams would basically begin, with that being the little battles that would be pretty anticlimactic, not gonna lie. Naruto fights Kiba. Fuck do you think's gonna happen? It's like, come on. Think about how strong Naruto is in this what if compared to his original self. He wouldn't even have to use his Sharingan. He could just be like, okay, Kiba just give up. And Kiba be like, I will not give up because I am going to become the Hokage. Because, you know, Kiba thought he was going to become the Hokage. Sure, buddy. You can't become the Hokage unless you have a fucking good old-fashioned... Okay, you need, like, one of two things. One, you need a Sharingan. Or two, you need... Or actually, there's three things. Hashirama cells, or you need a frickin' battery. What do you mean battery? What's the battery? And I actually thought this was really funny because somebody commented in the good old part 1 or part 2 of this What If. They're like, how can you make a fireball jutsu? And Naruto's like, well, you see, I have something called a Nine-Tails battery inside of my gut. You know, I just thought that was quite comical. So anyway, the fight with Kiba would be really anticlimactic, and Naruto would pretty easily win. He uses either like a single fireball jutsu, or he would simply use taijutsu. He would easily defeat Kiba with pretty much no difficulty whatsoever. Sasuke would still fight his like chakra-absorbing guy, except he would have a much easier time than he would in the original, because he didn't really have to worry. He doesn't have to worry about the curse mark, you know, eating away at his body. Along with him being stronger than he was in the original, also making it easier for him to win this battle. So, like, Sakura, you know, Sakura, she still ties against Ino, the weakest fucking person in the exams. I mean, Sakura. What the fuck am I gonna do? Never mind. Anyway, so, nothing would really happen other than that, because, you know, what else exactly would have happened? Because, like, come on, nothing else happens. Come on, nothing else happens. But yeah, that's where I'm gonna leave this part off. So I'll see you guys in the next part. Peace out, bye.